Yes, guys, welcome back to the channel, and I'm giving you another daily dose of a jab. So we're gonna get straight into my debut for Cavalry FC, and that was mad because there was so much going on in the lead up to that game. So we're gonna take you through the lead up and what was going through my mind and also the minds of my teammates going into that game. So obviously a big occasion. A lot of my teammates hadn't really played in front of that big of a crowd before, I believe, because it was their first ever professional team contract. So you name it, you know what I mean? There was a handful of guys in our team where they were brought in for experience or players that have played at a certain level that might be adding the quality to the team. Whereas in reverse, a lot of those players who hadn't played before, they've gone on now and they've had amazing careers. One's playing in MLS, one's playing in Poland First Division. Who else is there? There's a few who are playing in the Canadian Premier League, and another's playing in the MLS who's played for Canadian national team. One's playing for Plymouth in League One. We had a good team, man. If you stack up where everyone's played and where they're playing now or where they played before they got there, there's a lot of big teams that you can actually mention in our team. So I'm going to go through the match day squad. I'm going to go through what it looked like on that day leading up to going there. I'm going to go to a lot of different things, man. There was a lot of key moments that led to being a part of something so great. So our change room, I think I've got a little image or video of our change room. I do remember our change room looking like that. And man, I remember sitting on the end actually. My shirt was on the end, so I was like just second on the, I do remember that. So obviously that was a big part of our wins and success and cabins and stuff like that. Cabins in the woods, man. Teams coming all the way there. Calgary, boy. You can't breathe, man. And then they were playing us. Hey, mind games. A lot of that. And then the fans as well. Fans are crazy, man. How are you outside in minus, I don't know. I think that day it might be -5 degrees and you're really going for it. There's at one point that game, we hadn't had a roof. So there was no roof on the ceiling and fans are going for it at the stadium and at the ground, man. Crazy. So if I go into, let me go all the way down. Jeez, this is going to be a long one, man. Wow. Crazy.
20 ball played to the top. Let's shock and off.
I've always been a hard worker. I've always been somebody that no matter. So here's a video of what my reaction was on that day. There wasn't even a roof up here, I think, for the first game. So being on the pitch, we were feeling the same thing the supporters were feeling. I do remember that. It was a great feeling to score the first goal. Helping my team that day was the main thing. But now the season's over, just looking back at it, it's something that I can be very proud of. Although it doesn't take much talent to score the first goal, but something that somebody can't take away from that. I was the first person to score for the team. Mad thing. So I do remember though, day before the game, we're going through the game. Obviously, pre-season has been among us, and I don't know whether I got brought in as a player to start or come off the bench or whatever. Not really sure how it was supposed to go in the beginning. I reckon I was probably brought in to be a player to come off the bench, I reckon. But I forced my way into the team in that pre-season. And I remember I had a really good pre-season. I had a bad start though, the first 2 weeks. I do remember even some of my teammates looking at, is this the guy we brought in? Not really. I know he's got a lot of hype and stuff like that, but I'm not really seeing it. I think once I heard stuff like that, once I hear stuff like that, it's happened so many times, which maybe it's a testament to me, but also a fault of mine as well, that anywhere I've been, that I have a little bit of doubt in the beginning. It takes a little bit of a while for me to get going. I think that is a lot to do with my fitness and also getting used to how the team plays and whatnot. But it doesn't take me long. But I think that pre-season, we had a pre-season for 2 months, so that's 8 weeks. And I think it took me 2 or 3 weeks to get up to speed because I hadn't played previously competitively for a while, or I was playing in and out of the team. But I do remember one training session, I silenced that and I put that to bed. We were doing 5-a-side or something. and I was slapping it in. If I had a video, I don't know, I think they filmed it as well. I think they did film it, and man, I don't know if I can find that video. Hopefully I can, but if not, it is what it is. But I do remember in my head of just driving with the ball, half a yard, slap, top corner, boom, crazy. So that pre-season, and that led me to the first game, and the first game, magical game, man. May 4th, 2019, in front of packed house. Eventually, the fans, they actually, because basically that was our first ever home game, and no one had really like a football match at Spruce Meadows. So Spruce Meadows, if you can imagine, it's like Disneyland, yeah? It's a big like of land with like football pitch that they've built in the middle of the grounds, and then there are other pitches and stuff like that where horse riding goes on, and then there's horses down there, and then there's like winter wonderland down there, like crazy, innit? So that is basically what Meadows is, and a lot of the fans couldn't really get to the game in time, or they were all rushing in at the same time, and I think they were sorting out parking for people to park and then obviously get to the stadium, because it's so out the way that like get public transport is nearly enough impossible to get there. So you actually need to get there, and then if you got like 6,000 people all driving in at the same time, obviously a lot of people actually missed my goal, which people tell me that they're like, oh man, I missed your goal, bro. And I'm like, it is what it is. You weren't there. A select few people got to witness a moment like that. So yeah, that was in like I want to say it was like 13th minute of the game. Correct me if I'm wrong, maybe lucky 13 number. I can't really remember. I'm gonna go check this after this. But yeah, ball gets brought in. Julian Buscher, German whip boy. Got that German, yeah. Whip the ball in. Shout out to Julian, or Julian, and then Wilden, who's now a coach, Cavalry FC. He's headed it back to me, and I've headed it. And you don't really see me score too many headers since then, you know what I mean? But listen, I was there, boom, headed it into the net and run off like this, celebrating. Like I just scored the first ever goal for the club, and there's not really any better feelings than that, to be honest. Like something literally you cannot take away. You like can do something again, like player to score the most goals or blah. This record right here, yeah, no one else can ever say they scored the first ever goal for a club. The league got made in 2009, and obviously the team got formed in 2019. Whatever happens, I've scored the first ever goal for the club. It's crazy, man. Like, of pub quizzes, part of history, part of hopefully the club goes on and the league goes on for another 100 years. That's something that my legacy can carry forward, and even can mention that to my kids. Crazy, innit? So madness, man. Something that, yeah, like look at the opportunity. When I first got the opportunity, I thought, do I take it? Do I not? Do I stay in Europe? But I think that opportunity there, like, was just so inviting and so inspiring to. You look at things like that when you join the club and you're thinking, wow, imagine if I could become the first ever goal scorer for a club. It would be mad, innit? And then you go do it. It's crazy, man. So yeah, we can get into the season in another video, and obviously what happened after that historic moment. There was more historic moments after that, which is crazy to even say. I had a mad season. Like when you're in the moment, you don't even realize what you're doing, and you don't even realize how big it is, man. But obviously afterwards, in retrospect, like bro, this is what I've done here, man. It's crazy, madness. And also, I used to be someone where I used to play it down, innit? Maybe like, I wasn't even lying in my own head. Like I used to think it's not that much of a big deal. But as I've got older, I've gone and also come out the game as well. I've learned how to embrace those moments, and actually what I've done is something many people can say they've scored the first ever goal for a club. How many people living can say that on the whole earth in football? I'm probably one of like, I don't know. There's like 50 people living right now who can say that, which is crazy. So yeah, but anyway, that was my debut for Cavalry FC, the first ever goal scorer in their history, Jordan Antonio Brown. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.